Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome virtually to the conference Doing Business in Ribatejo. I'm Antonio Buscardini, and I will have the pleasure to moderate today's webinar. Today's event is organized by NERSANT, the business association promoting the Ribatejo region, who represents close to 50,000 companies and obviously seeks to give voice to this beautiful region. Today's initiative is part of a broader project entitled RibatejoGlobal, co-financed by contemplated within the scope of the European Regional Development Fund, which in addition to Belgium, actions have also been carried out in other markets: Canada, Brazil, Dubai, and France. On behalf of our audience, I would like to welcome NERSANT to Brussels. As you all know, Brussels is a complex city. In fact, Brussels is the capital of Flanders, Belgium, the European Union, and somehow temporarily of Portugal, due to the current Portuguese presidency of the European Council of the European Union. According to the Brussels Capital Region, Brussels has more than 198 nationalities, and one stands due to its number and value, the Portuguese, but also due to the common history Portugal shares with Belgium in both trade and business. This relationship started back in the 15th century, when Portugal's Queen Elizabeth, sister of Henry the Navigator, married Philippe le Bon, Philip the Good, Flanders Duke. Since then, trade and business between these two countries was established. 6 centuries later, those two countries continue to do trade, to do business, and most importantly, to rediscover themselves. Now, who better than Mr. Ambassador of Portugal to explain the bond between these two countries? We have here the pleasure to count with Ambassador Tereno, the Ambassador of Portugal to the Kingdom of Belgium. Mr. Ambassador, you have the floor. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Antonio Buscardini. Dear Mr. Domingos Chambel, the President of the Business Association of the Santarém region at NERSANT, dear Mr. Rui Faria da Cunha, the President of the Belgium-Portuguese Chamber of Commerce, dear Ms. Sonia Santos, representing the intermunicipal community of Ribatejo, dear Belgian and Portuguese entrepreneurs, dear participants. Picking up on the words of Antonio Buscardini, first of all, let me congratulate NERSANT for organizing this event dedicated to doing business in Ribatejo. As Antonio pointed out, this webinar is part of a larger initiative aimed at several markets throughout the world, which testifies to your proactive approach to doing business and projecting the image of your region. Now, the next speakers will give you an in-depth presentation of Ribatejo, its beauty and its potential. On my part, I'd like to make a broader point on which Antonio has touched already. Yes, we share a very long history. In fact, even going earlier than Princess Elizabeth, Belgian crusaders, or at least Flemish crusaders, were present helping in the conquest of Lisbon in the 12th century. But again, that's history, and the most important thing right now is the present. And in the present, I would say, first of all, that, and this is not just a cliche, that the Belgian and Portuguese relationship is really excellent at all levels, not just at the European level as members of the European Union, but also, very importantly, on the bilateral level. And this is, for me, is an important point, because when we are holding here this webinar, we are doing this very specifically at a bilateral level. Now, on economic terms, Portugal and Belgium are already major trade and investment partners. We're talking about top 10 partners in the 8th position reciprocally. So this is an exceptionally intense relationship, but it's not as widely known. Sometimes it's even obscured by the fact that the European institutions are here, and sometimes we tend to make an amalgamation. When we talk about Belgium or Brussels, we immediately think European Union. But first and foremost, Belgium is a country. Brussels is the capital of Belgium, and we are here about we are here to talk about the country of Belgium. This is our main focal point at this time. Both countries need to discover one another, find out which are the opportunities, and we are barely scratching the surface. When we go further, when we go deeper, very easily we find lines of thought, we find opportunities that sometimes or very often surprise us, but they are there and they need to be exploited. In fact, several Belgian companies are already operating in Portugal, and conversely, several Portuguese companies are working here in Belgium. But we need to go deeper in this endeavor. And in this respect, let me say that the Belgian-Portuguese Chamber of Commerce is an extremely helpful and effective player. And my advice is that you contact them if you are a Belgian company that wants to do business in Portugal, or vice versa, if you are a Portuguese company that wants to enter the Belgian market. Furthermore, the Belgian-Portuguese Chamber of Commerce has a very close working relationship with its Belgian counterpart in Portugal, the Portugal-Belgian-Luxembourg Chamber of Commerce. So we have a cooperation between two entities that amplifies the exchange of information between the business communities in both countries, and you should all take full advantage of this. Lastly, and picking up on Antonio Buscardini's remark just a while ago, the fact that I'm speaking right next to my colleague, the director of our trade and investment delegation here in Brussels, ICEP, testifies to as a symbol that we are here together on the political side and on the trade and investment side to promote business opportunities in both senses, and in this particular case, in support to NERSANT and to Ribatejo. Of course, I'm captive audience. I love the Ribatejo region, and so the Ribatejo is for me I'm from Lisbon, but Ribatejo is a fantastic region. While it may not be very big, it's a very centralized region in Portugal, and it's very networked. So Ribatejo is a discovery that you need to make, not just on the tourist side, and I'm not underestimating the tourism side, but Ribatejo is a region with diverse characteristics. If you go into the more technical literature, you'll see that there are at least 3 or 4 subdivisions within Ribatejo with their own features corresponding to a different set of potentials. So you need to know all about them. Is of course near our main river, which provides ways of communication. And again, I'm just hinting at a few things that the next speakers will talk about. But Ribatejo is certainly a region that is there, ready ready for you, the Belgian entrepreneur, to know about. Just as I'm sure after events like this webinar, there will be Portuguese investors, namely from Ribatejo, that will want to get in touch with Belgian investors to explore opportunities of working together. So this is a very timely initiative, and I certainly congratulate NERSANT for this initiative, because doing business in Ribatejo is a priority. not just a regional priority, but a national priority, which is why the Embassy of Portugal is fully behind this. So my congratulations to all of those who have organized this webinar. I'm sure it will open very, very interesting and useful prospects for the future. So thank you, NERSANT, thank you, Ribatejo, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ambassador. It's always a pleasure to listen to you, and it's really a pleasure to have you welcoming us in this important event. As you said, Ribatejo is a discovery you need to make. And keeping on that line, Ribatejo is indeed an unusual region because it has no coastline, it has no border with Spain, but it has the luck of having a majestic river, the Tagus River, crossing its city until its capital, Santarém, who was considered at some point in our history to even become our capital city, but it didn't happen. It remained in Lisbon, but it proves the importance of Ribatejo, both in our history, tradition, and naturally economics. Now, I would like to first of all share with the audience some practical information in the sense that we don't have much time indeed to do questions and answers. So I invite everybody to write their questions or comments in our chat, and I will try to obviously give voice to all these comments and questions. Now, we go to the real bread and butter, and I obviously would like to invite NERSANT to take the floor, particularly its board president, Mr. Domingos Chambel, who will speak now in Portuguese. Presidente, tem a palavra. Muito obrigado.
Ok, já me estou a ouvir. Sim. Não conseguia, sim, não conseguia ligar o microfone, já está. Eu penso que já me estão a ouvir. Joana, eu agradecia logo que eu terminasse e ia traduzir, está bem? Portanto, em nome da NERSANT, em meu nome pessoal, apresento um cumprimento muito especial ao Sr. Embaixador Dr. Rui Tereno, agradecendo a sua generosa e esclarecedora intervenção. Com a sua presença veio exponenciar a visibilidade e a notariedade desta iniciativa e as potencialidades do nosso país e da nossa região.
On behalf of NERSANT and myself, I would like to present my compliments to and thank yous to Mr. Ambassador Rui Tereno, thanking him for his generous intervention, his presence, which has indeed exponentiated our visibility and notoriety of this initiative, and also his kind words for the potential of our country and this region.
Uma saudação também muito especial ao Dr. Rui Cunha, representante da Câmara de Comércio Belgo-Portuguesa, ao representante da AECEP, Dr. Rui Almes, e o representante da Comunidade Intermunicipal do Tejo, Sonia Santos, e a todos os nossos colegas empresários que seguem este webinar. E a toda a equipa do NERSANT e as instituições que contribuíram para a realização deste evento.
A very special thank you to Mr. Rui Cunha from the Chamber of Commerce, to Rui Almes, the representative of ICEP, to Sonia Santos, the representative of the intermunicipal community of the Ribatejo, to our fellow businessmen and businesswomen, and to the whole team of NERSANT and the fellow institutions who contributed for the realization of this event.
Portanto, para fazermos o enquadramento para os seus empresários que nos acompanham, e todas as instituições que nos acompanham, para fazer o enquadramento do que é o NERSANT, só para ter uma visão aproximada da nossa dimensão, nós temos cerca de 3.000 empresas associadas.
For a better scope and idea of what NERSANT is and do, we would like to mention that we have more than 3,000 companies associated.
Como vamos ter a oportunidade de verificar, entre Portugal e a Bélgica, existem muitos fatores em comum os quais vamos tentar exponenciar neste encontro.
As you will have the chance to verify, between Portugal and Belgium, there are many factors in common, factors that we will try to explore in this session.
Portugal é país de oportunidades e a nossa região está no centro dessas oportunidades.
Portugal is a country filled with opportunity, and our region is at the very center of said opportunities.
Não só pela sua posição geográfica, que é ímpar a nível nacional, ou uma posição central, cruzada por 4 importantes autoestradas, a A1, a A23, a A13, a A15, e 3 eixos ferroviários, que são os eixos da Beira Baixa, Leste e Ramal do Mar.
Not only does the region possess a geographical position that it's unmatched and central, crossed by 4 important highways and 3 main railway tracks, connecting it to the country.
Okay. Mas não só por essas infraestruturas, mas também pelos recursos naturais desta grande extensão agrícola, complementada com uma economia que está desenvolvida numa grande mancha florestal, a metalomecânica, a construção civil, a indústria de pele, a extração de rochas naturais e a indústria automóvel.
But a special word should be made also to its natural resources, with a great extension of agricultural exploitation, a very large forestry and significant industry activities in the foundry sector, civil construction, and others.
Para receber os potenciais investidores, temos 5 grandes parques industriais com preços simbólicos ao metro quadrado.
To receive potential investors, we have 5 very large industrial parks with very low prices per square meter.
Temos diversas infraestruturas facilitadoras do processo de implementação, desenvolvimento e maturação das empresas.
And we possess also several infrastructures who facilitate the process of implementation, development, and maturing of the companies and potential businesses, such as
dos quais podemos destacar dois institutos politécnicos e vários centros de investigação da transferência e do conhecimento, asseguram a mão de obra mais qualificada.
From these infrastructures, we should stand out the several centers of investigation and knowledge transfer present in the association in the region, and also the two polytechnic institutes that ensure the availability of the most qualified human resources.
Temos várias instituições ligadas ao desenvolvimento económico, tais como o Agro Cluster, a Tagus-Vale, que é o Parque da Ciência e Tecnologia, o Ecoparque do Relvão, que é um centro de tratamento de resíduos, que recebe os resíduos a nível nacional, o Terminal Multimodal de Ribatejo, que é um grande centro logístico de suporte a todos os transportes de mercadorias da região, e a NERSANT tem duas startups, ou seja, centros incubadores das empresas, um em Santarém e outro em Vila Nova de Arém.
From these infrastructures, a special mention should be made to the Agro Cluster, the agro-industry cluster present in the region, Tagus Valley, a science and technology park closely connected to the region, the Relvão Eco Park, and the multimodal terminal of the Tagus Valley. Also a special mention to two startup incubators located in Santarém and Orem that are managed by NERSANT herself.
Nós dividimos toda essa atividade económica por duas sub-regiões, uma do Médio Tejo e outra da Lesíria, num território de 6.718 km².
This activity is divided in two sub-regions in Portugal, Médio Tejo and Lesíria do Tejo, both located close by to the Tagus River, and this is a territory that encompasses more than 6,000 square kilometers.
A nossa população é muito idêntica à de Bruxelas. Bruxelas tem próximo de 507.000 habitantes e nós temos 470.000 habitantes.
A small note that our population is almost identical to the one present in Brussels. So we have 470,000 inhabitants compared to the 500,000 present in Brussels. Our capital is Santarém.
No Ribatejo estão instaladas 48.519 empresas, equivalentes a 142.844 postos de trabalho.
In Ribatejo, we count with the presence of 48,000 plus businesses who generate almost 150,000 places of work in the region.
Ok. Desenvolvemos valor acrescentado bruto de 6,812 milhões de euros e PIB de 7,88 mil milhões de euros.
Our BAV stands over more than 7 million euros and our and more than 8 billion in national gross product.
As nossas exportações situam-se em 1,9 mil milhões de euros, que representam 5,5% das exportações a nível nacional.
Our exports also represent close to 6% of the national total, comprising almost 2 billion euros.
Além disso tudo, temos fator que para nós empresários é muito importante. O nosso salário mínimo é metade do salário mínimo da Bélgica.
Nice to know fact is that the businessmen here in Ribatejo can count on a national minimum wage that is half the amount of the Belgian minimum wage.
Para além de tudo isto, temos, além de estarmos no centro de Portugal, estamos a 1 hora de Lisboa e 1h30 do Porto, que são as duas grandes metrópoles.
Besides being at the very center of the country, we are 1 hour away from Lisbon and 1 hour and 30 minutes from Porto, the two main cities of Portugal.
Além de tudo isto, temos também potenciais investidores disponíveis para parcerias belgo-portuguesas via a internacionalização e exportação.
Besides all this, we have also a good number of potential investors available for partnerships between Belgium and Portugal, constructing our a better way to broaden our horizons and exportations.
Para complementar tudo isto e pôr a cereja em cima do bolo, nós temos um clima e uma gastronomia ímpar a nível ocidental.
As the cherry on top of the cake, we must mention our gastronomy and great food, and also the wonderful weather we have here in the region.
A NERSANT e o Ribatejo está receptiva para acolher todos os potenciais investidores e dar-lhes todo o apoio que necessitam.
NERSANT and the region of Ribatejo welcomes all investors that wish to come here.
Por tudo isto, contamos convosco. Sejam bem-vindos ao Ribatejo, sejam bem-vindos a Portugal e bom trabalho para todos vós. Muito obrigado.
For all of this, we count on you. Welcome to Ribatejo and welcome to Portugal. Thank you.
Mr. President, thank you very much for your contribution and for providing us an overview about this region, Ribatejo, about its business, the conditions as well for Belgians who seek for perhaps an investment in your region. Now, I would like to invite João Salvador, who works as well for NERSANT, and who will in fact share the real bread and butter on how to make business in Ribatejo, where to start, which in fact is the first question for any investor to accompany an entity like NERSANT. I know that we will start with a video presentation. So I will give now the floor to João Salvador. Thank you very much. You have the floor.
Good afternoon to everybody. Just to thank to our board president, to Domingos Chambel. He have done a very, very good initial presentation of introduction to what is our region. I have some information in this PowerPoint, some statistical information. Mainly of this information already was explained by our president, but I will pass it. I think. Okay. So, as explained, NERSANT is the business association of the Santarém region, and is the third largest association in Portugal. We have more than 3,000 members, and our headquarters in Torres Novas, and we have also five branches localized in five areas: Santarém, Abrantes, Santarém, Cartacho, and Benavente. Our goal is the proximity. We are close for our companies to help them in whatever they need. As NERSANT has also two startups, one in Santarém and one in Orange. This is the information that already our president informed. This region is divided into sub-regions: the Médio Tejo and the Lesíria do Tejo. The Santarém is the capital of our district. We have more than 461 inhabitants. the picture of to understand better where we are. We are really in the center of Portugal, very close to Lisbon. 1 hour and 32 hours from Oporto, 1 hour from Spain. Regarding also to the location, we are really in the center from Lisbon, Porto. We are between the north, exactly in the center of Portugal. In the terms of accessibility, the 12 municipalities is connected by railway routes. Is also integrated into the Trans-European Transport Network with 2 logistic platforms that serve as dry ports, acting as national freight concentrators and distributors. They have also customs. 5 motorways is covering 85% of the 21 municipalities. Regarding our local resources, we have a high quality and range of natural resources provided by an abundance of water and fertile soils and the region's proximity to raw materials. For example, the wood and the natural stone. Regarding the human capital, experienced and technically skilled workforce is operating in various strategic sectors. We have open communication channels, very good open channels between the companies and the institutions of education. Also, we have various major vocational schools in the region with training courses geared towards meeting market needs in terms of the workforce that is required. Infrastructures, we have 16 preschools, 18 elementary schools, and 2 secondary schools on average per municipality. We have also 2 polytechnic institutions, one in Santarém and another one in Tomar, one in each statistical sub-region. We have also laboratories and technological centers in which regional corporations were highly involved. As explained, we have business incubators for startups and for business projects in Santarém. Also, research centers with focuses ranging from food technology to animal reproduction, the SPIC, INIAB, many others. Support infrastructures for business. There are various infrastructures have emerged as facilitators for companies in the implementation, development, and the maturating stages. For example, the Eco Park of Relvão, Tagus Valley, the business parks, the startups, also the Agro Cluster, and the multimodal of Tagus Valley terminal. Some information, also some pictures of the business parks. The business park of Cartacho is close to the junction onto the A1, 1 kilometer from the motorway. Also, Ribatejo is close to the junction leading onto the A15, and Torres Novas close to the junction leading onto the A13. The TVT, as explained, is the region. The region is integrated into the Trans-European Transport Network with a logistic platform that serves as dry port and customs. Relvão Eco Park, as explained, works as a environment and energy national cluster with a growing and sustainable business community based on collective efficiency strategies of innovation and knowledge. It aims, among others, to act as an innovation center for the areas of environment and energy, also bet on the industrial symbiosis, and also promote the collaboration between the companies and also between the companies and the research entities. Some information about the support and incentives and also the tolerance and openness. There are competitive prices for companies that want to invest in the region. There are also services available in order to establish a company. And also, as explained by our president, our labor costs are very, very competitive. Also, there are availability to welcome new investments and new entrepreneurs, and also the resilience of the community and the local agents. So now we'll start to present the main of activities of our region. For example, we'll start for the agro-food industry. Operations carried out in connection with the primary sector carry significant weight in the region, especially the farming sector. Also, a transformative industry worth highlighting, especially where exports are concerned, thanks to the export framework that has successfully been established. In the region, there is also the Agro Cluster of Ribatejo that is considered of extreme importance for the local economy. And another question, there are 200,000 hectares that is dedicated to irrigation of polyculture, vineyards, and horticulture. The agri-food products in development. So the agri-food sector is already very firmly established in our region. Certain specific products have not yet reached their total and full potential. So this means that there are certain visible areas that can be growth and implemented more widely among the already well-established products. For example, we have the wine, we have also the honey. Regarding the tanning industry dates back a long way in the Ribatejo region. Although the sector traditionally had close ties to the shoe industry in the past, very big efforts have been made to diversify use of the final product. It have expanded their products to the automotive, furniture, and also to the fashion sectors. Regarding the timber and the paper, they extended from long-standing traditions in the region. Investments continue to be made into forestry and also in sustainable management, timber and paper. This focus is fundamental due to the direct influence it has on employment growth and exports, creating wealth, local development, promoting also social and territorial cohesion, and protecting the nature. We have 110,000 hectares set aside for forests in our region. Natural stone, just to keep 75% of the turnover in the region of Central Alentejo come from the natural stone extraction and the transformer sectors. It's a very strong sector also in our region, mainly for exportation. There, for example, there we have in the, as explained, 75% it's for export. Let's say. Mechanics, regarding the mechanics and metallurgy sectors, the Portuguese mechanics and metallurgy sector stands out as being the industry with the most exports within the Portuguese economy, with total exports more than 19 billion euros. Regarding the sector of the environment and waste, where we have already mentioned the Relvão Eco Park. It's to start, Relvão Eco Park is the most important eco cluster in Portugal. But when it comes to the environment and waste, the region has enormous potential, which could be harnessed with the strategies defining the PNI 2030. This is a program, Portugal National Investment Program for 2030. Within the scope of this program, the following strategic axes were set for this date for the next 10 years. We have focused in the renewable energy to continue promoting the energy producing renewable economically and environmentally sustainable sources. Also in the energetic efficiency to prioritize energy efficiencies by informing, enabling, and changing behaviors. And finally, to the sustainable mobility. Regarding the tourism sector is the country's largest export. We have main of the exportation of Portugal are from the tourism sector. On that note, it's worth to mention that the very known sanctuaries of Fatima is located in our region. The Ribatejo is a region with a strong territorial entity, with unique traditions and also very rich and diverse cultural and religious heritage. It's a picture of the Fatima Sanctuary and some information that, for example, 483 million of the total income from tourism automation is in the central Portugal and Alentejo regions. Regarding the logistics sector, at the logistics level, the region takes on the role of a key vector linking the north and the south, as explained, and also the coastal and inland areas. Is well served in railways and roads. We have five motorways that cross 85% of our municipalities. 12 municipalities also have access to the railways. As explained, is very close to Lisbon, very close to Spain, and also to Porto. Just some examples of opportunities, concrete cases. For example, developing strategies to help products stand out in terms of quality and diversification, with a view to developing new food products with a higher added value is one of example of opportunity. Also, you can investing in areas relating to tourism and the hospitality infrastructures, with a special focus in the Tomar and also of Fatima. Integrating new links into existing value chains in the region, such as the logistics or the training sectors, for example, supplying raw materials or developing new applications. Committing to developing biorefinery industries as a sustainable platforms for transforming biomass into bioproducts and bioenergy. And finally, establishing new companies into the metal working sector, which are equipped with higher levels of industrial automation and are based on the fundamentals of Industry 4.0, thus providing benefits in both productivity and also profitability as means of production. To conclude, just to present some the most exported products by Ribatejo. We started the most exported product is the motor vehicles for transport of goods. Also the prepared or preserved tomatoes. We have also the tableware and other table or kitchen utensils of plastic. The chemical wood pulp for the solution, brakes and servo brakes, and finally the radiators and parts thereof for tractors and motor vehicles. So this is our contacts. You can also, for more information or to ask some want to more information or to have any questions, can send to this email. Okay.
Thank you very much, Mr. Salvador, for your presentation. This is indeed a region of a lot of opportunities, as you said. I'm sure that the Belgian investors who heard you, they are already enthusiastic. You mentioned so many sectors. I will try to sum up all the unique selling points of your region. You talk obviously starting with the agri-food, which is very important. I remember, I would like to stress to the audience as well that you host in Santarém every year the National Agriculture Fair and the Ribatejo Fair, organized by the Portuguese Farmers Confederation, and that's indeed one of the biggest events of the year. You mentioned tanning, mechanics, environment and wastes, timber and paper, natural stone, and obviously tourism in the region. And we all know that Portugal is quite trendy now for years, and that year after year we have more and more tourists from Europe coming to Portugal, and it is indeed an opportunity to discover something new rather than just the usual Lisbon, Porto, the islands, and the Algarve. Now the challenge, I guess, for Chamber of Commerce, which is the Belgian and Portuguese Chamber of Commerce, which would be to report all this information to the Belgian entrepreneurs. Now, we have here the president of the Belgian-Portuguese Chamber of Commerce, which is in fact a chamber that is quite old. It exists since 1938. So once again, we see how Belgium and Portugal work for a long time. And I would like to give the floor to Mr. Rui Faria da Cunha, the current president of the Belgian-Portuguese Chamber, who I'm sure will not only introduce the chamber, but also share some interesting figures between the trade of Belgium and Portugal, and how can he help Ribatejo to have a more present voice here in Belgium and in Brussels. Mr. President, you have the floor.
Thank you, Antonio. Thank you. So I must confess that I want to get on the first plane available to Portugal after listening to these such interesting presentations. And as I haven't been to Portugal myself for a while now because of pandemics.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I believe you need to turn on your camera. The sound is good, the camera is not.
Thank you for that, Antonio. It was my mistake. But as I said, I was really excited to listen to what our friends from NERSANT and also before Mr. Ambassador, because as our listeners today, I think we all really have this will to travel to Portugal as soon as possible and to visit this beautiful country, and especially the region of Ribatejo that is being presented so well today by our friends from NERSANT. And so I guess that the first advice that I would give before starting the presentation, book your ticket, go to Portugal. There's no way you won't fall in love with the country. You have so many things that will attract you to the country, but you need to go. You need to, yes, listen to these presentations, maybe call the Chamber of Commerce or give a call to our friends in NERSANT, but then just book a ticket and go. There's no other way. So first of all, I would like to thank the invitation, of course, because it's an honor for me and for the Chamber that I represent to be part of such a distinguished event and panel. I would like to salute all the speakers and audience, but especially the Portuguese ambassador to Belgium, Mr. Rui Manuel Palatareno, and the president of NERSANT, Mr. Domingos Chambel. As Antonio said, this chamber that I have the pleasure to chair was created between the two wars. So it has been here for a while now, more than 83 years of business promotion. Started with only a handful of Belgian and Portuguese businessmen. And today, our chamber, that is 83 years old, as I was saying, continues the mission with around 50 members, 12 of which compose the board. And then from these 12, there is a small nucleus of directors, namely myself as the president, two vice presidents, the secretary general and the treasurer that manage the chamber on a daily basis. And we are assisted by an assistant. So as I was saying, this Chamber of Commerce tries to promote business and friendship ties that are as old as our country, as Mr. Ambassador and Antonio were saying, through a number of activities that we promote with our members and beyond. So our members are, as I said, around 50, but they come from all sorts of, let's say, areas or sectors of activity that go from banking to energy to agriculture, distribution, or even consulting. And together, we are Belgian and Portuguese, and from Belgium, I'd say from the 3 regions of Belgium, because as you know, we have 3 regions in Belgium. Even though we are the size of Alentejo here in Belgium, we have 3 different regions. And so our chamber reflects this composition of Belgium. So we have members from the 3 regions and Portuguese from the whole country. So this is a meeting place for those that trade and invest between Portugal and Belgium. So in terms of our activities, Antonio and our friends, we divide ourselves into services that we provide to members, the normal services that any chamber provides to members. But on top of that, we organize events that are open to non-members, and we organize business missions. And just an example, one of the recent events that we have organized, well, actually it was a webinar, because you know it's difficult nowadays to organize other events and webinars, but we were focused on blue economy. We are very focused on this sector, the blue economy, and as Portugal and Belgium have a lot to say in this sector, especially, and that was the focus of our event, the production of wind power offshore. So we have organized an event, and this resulted on a number of companies, both from Belgium and Portugal, to interact during this event. But then now we are organizing with them a visit to Portugal, so a mission of Belgian entrepreneurs in this sector that to go to Portugal to know more and better what we are doing in this blue economy realm. So this is an example of what we do concretely. We also try to provide information and support to Belgian and Portuguese entrepreneurs that reach out and want to know more about how to do business in both countries. And so we have been approached more than ever, I guess, in the last year, despite the pandemics, to provide this kind of organizations the information that they need. Naturally, that we are not alone. No one is alone. No one can be alone. So we have established a network of partners, of partnerships, with whom we collaborate on a daily basis to promote and pursue our mission. Networking has never been more important than today, as I was saying. One of the Chamber's good examples of networking is the one that we have established with NERSANT. So it has been now a couple of years since we have signed a cooperation agreement with NERSANT, and we exchange, so we can help Belgian entrepreneurs that want to know more about the region by addressing their demands to NERSANT. So this is an example of how these partnerships work with our chamber. We also have similar partnerships with other similar institutions in Portugal and of course in Belgium. In Belgium, we collaborate very strongly with the Portuguese Trade and Investment Promotion Agency, ICEP, that is represented in this panel by its director, Mr. Rui Almas, but also we have an extensive network of contacts in the 3 regions of the country, namely the trade and investment promotion agencies of each country, but also with the local promotion agencies, with local associations, trade associations, or even companies. This is the strength of our association, of our chamber, is that we have an extensive network of contacts in Belgium, which allow us to respond quickly to any request for information or contacts that comes from Portugal to Belgium. So the chamber is prepared and willing to give support and information to all those, like those that are now listening to us, to establish business with Portugal, namely with, of course, the Ribatejo region. So we have all suffered for the last year or so with this terrible pandemic that has had to have a blow, an impact on the trade flows between the 2 countries. So this is obvious, it's clear, but as we see it, there are some indications, hints that show that the interest for our country has not diminished. On the opposite, as I was saying just a few minutes ago, our Chamber of Commerce in this last year received more requests for information than I can remember, and I've been connected to the Chamber for more or less 17 years now. But this means that despite the statistics, but statistics nowadays with these pandemics, they are not worth much, right? But the most important thing is that we have been approached time and time again by businessmen here in Belgium that are looking to invest in Portugal or to find a business partner in Portugal. So of course we assist each one of these businessmen by giving them information that we have, or by putting them in contact with the right person in the right place, either here, normally at the embassy and with the ICEP, but also with our partners in Lisbon, being the Belgian Luxembourgese Chamber of Commerce in Lisbon, that is our sister chamber, but also with the local associations such as NERSANT and other associations. So the pandemic has forced us, all of us, to adapt, and we have this capacity of adapting. And we have adapted our services and our positioning as Chamber of Commerce. We had to reinforce our presence online, so we are more present than before in social networks. We have our website up to date, our Facebook page, our Twitter account, our LinkedIn, but also we publish electronic newsletters that reach hundreds of people here in Belgium and elsewhere. We have organized webinars. We will continue to organize webinars, but in more hybrid kind of fashion, as there will be from now the 17th of May, our first seminar or webinar that is a mix of presence and distance participation. Also, let me give you another example of what we have done in the last year. We have created a Facebook page called it's called Buying Portuguese in Belgium. So in Portuguese, it's Compre Português na Bélgica. And this is a page dedicated to the promotion of Portuguese business in Belgium. And we had a very nice surprise because today we have more than 1,100 members in this Facebook page with tens of companies using technology to promote their products and services of Portuguese origin, being in Portugal or here in Belgium. So this is an example of how we manage to address the challenges of the pandemics by creating another way, a different way, a more modern way, if you will, to promote Portuguese products in Belgium. So to conclude, I would like to invite you all to follow our chamber in the social networks, and please do contact us if you have any requests for information or a contact that you would need in Portugal to help you promote or support your business with Portugal. So welcome. Please do contact us whenever we need some assistance in Portugal. That's it, Antonio. Back to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It seems like NERSANT gained a friend today, or reinforced a friendship. Exactly. If there is somebody here in Brussels to contact, it is indeed Rui Faria da Cunha. Now, sometimes in these events, there is always the words, and then we need to pass words to action. Indeed, a challenge that I would like to submit to you would be to organize a visit to Ribatejo in partnership with NERSANT, and that will be indeed something concrete, the real bread and butter of business, which is to bring Belgian entrepreneurs and investors to the field.
We are all for it, Antonio. Let's go.
Great. So in order to illustrate these words, I would like to invite you all to see a very short video of the region of Ribatejo in all its added value and beauty. We can now play it.
Santarém, the capital of Ribatejo, benefits from a central location regarding the main national road and railway communication axes. Lisbon, the Portuguese capital, is about 1 hour away, and travelling to Porto takes 2 hours. The region is located only 1 hour away from Spain, presenting itself as an entry point to the European market, which represents more than 500 million consumers. Rio Maior Business Park was the first business location area of the country, followed by the business parks of Torres Novas and Cartaz. Ribatejo offers a good quality of life, has a huge potential, structured support network for investors, a support network for research and innovation, a dynamic business structure with innovative areas and growing expertise, great quality and variety of natural resources, experienced human resources, and technical expertise. The region business structure is composed of several sectors. Agri-food, in which agriculture and livestock are highly relevant. There are 200,000 hectares dedicated to polyculture irrigation, vineyards, and horticulture. It's worth stressing the emerging products with excellent growth and implementation conditions, which is the case of both wine and honey. A great leather industry tradition, with 90% of the national production being concentrated in Alcanena. The yearly turnover is worth 300 million euros and 40% of the production is exported. Timber and paper are sustainably managed with 110,000 hectares dedicated to forests. Natural stone with increasing exports of 75% turnover from extract and transformation, originating from the Central and Alentejo Portuguese regions. The national metalworking and metallurgy sector is the greatest exporting industry of the Portuguese economy, with the Central and Alentejo Portuguese regions representing 30% of the sector national turnover. Regarding the environment and wastes, in the scope of PNI, National Investment Plan 2030, strategic axes were defined for renewable energies, energy efficiency and sustainable mobility, with Relvão Eco Park, which has 1,800 hectares, being the most important environmental cluster in Portugal. Tourism represents 483 million euros of the total income from tourist accommodation establishments in the central Portugal and Alentejo regions. The region has a remarkable business activity with incentives for research, development, innovation and qualification projects, both on a national and international level. There are infrastructures to host foreign companies, such as Startup Santarém and Startup Orem, as well as support programs for foreign investors, such as Startup Visa and Golden Visa, amongst others. Ribatejo is today a potential investment at all levels and a certainty for the future. NERSANT, Business Association of Santarém Region.
Well, this indeed gives a lot of will of booking now a trip to Portugal to Ribatejo. We continue in Brussels. We continue in Brussels with our next speaker. I have the pleasure to introduce you all to Rui Paulo Almas, who is the delegate and representative of the Portuguese Trade and Investment Agency in Brussels, in Belgium, a man who knows quite well the Belgian market, and I'm sure we will share some insights from this complex market, because as the ambassador explained, Belgium is divided in 3 regions: the Brussels capital regions, Wallonia and Flanders. And obviously in terms of business, when you talk to Belgium, you need to talk with 3 different entities. Rui, the floor is yours.
Antonio, thank you very much. So good afternoon, everyone. I would like to thank NERSANT and Magellan for this kind invitation, and all the participants here today, and also to greet all the speakers. First of all, I would like to start with a personal note. I was born and raised in this beautiful Portuguese region of Ribatejo, and it is for me a great pleasure to welcome and have the opportunity to support the main business association of the region and their entrepreneurs in approaching the Belgian market. So welcome people and entrepreneurs from Ribatejo. I would like to start my presentation, and I'll try to give you an overview of the recent evolution of the Portuguese economy. I like also to stress Portugal as investment destination, the Portuguese investment ecosystem, and also the competitive advantages of Portugal. In the end, I will give you some examples of the recent track record of the foreign direct investment in Portugal and in Belgian market in particular. Starting from an economic point of view, the Portuguese GDP has been growing above the European average since 2014. At the end of 2019, the Portuguese economic outlook was very promising. The GDP growth was 2.2%. The internal demand had grown 1.4%. Unemployment nearly halved in the past 4 years. Total exporters were booming, and the foreign direct investment numbers were breaking records, both in the total value and number of new projects. Like in other countries, the COVID-19 pandemic was an unexpected shock, causing tremendous disruptions in the economic activity, and Portugal was not an exception to this. Overall, Portugal GDP is estimated to fallen 7.6% in 2020. However, Portugal GDP is expected to grow 4.1% in 2021 and 4.3% in 2022, again above the EU average estimated growth of the economy. During this time of the COVID-19 pandemic, Portugal has always been open for business, and we have been able to attract new foreign investments and projects. In this globalized post-pandemic world, with full of uncertainties, Portugal could offer to foreign investors, and namely to Belgian investors, a strategic location in Europe and a gateway to third markets in Africa and Latin America. A great economic, social, and political stability, a low risk perception, a large talent pool, and a large number of high qualified graduates, as well a modernized and performant network of infrastructures and telecommunications as well, and also a very agile, friendly, and competitive ecosystem with modern and global companies and a long experience with dealing and supporting private investors. On these competitive advantages, here are a few examples. Portugal is the first safest country in the world according to the Global Peace Index. Portugal, as a member of the European Union, is a strong supporter of the European Green Deal, complying with EU goals for sustainability, particularly with a great performance in terms of renewable energies. Portugal has the first highest rate of engineering graduates in Europe. We have 3 universities in the Financial Times ranking Master in Finance 2020, and is the 7th country worldwide in the English Proficiency Index. When it comes to innovation, Portugal is considered a strong innovation in Europe and ranks number 6 in the number of scientific and technical articles published. In terms of telecommunications, we have the 2nd fastest fixed broadband take-up, and we rank 5th in the EU, in the European Union, in terms of the communications technologies. Portugal is, for example, also the 8th country in the digitalization index of the European Investment Bank. We could continue with more examples of the current competitiveness of the Portuguese economy, but unfortunately, I'm on strict time schedule. As I said before, Portugal economic performance over the last years has attracted the interest of investors from all over the world. The number of FDI projects in Portugal more than tripled between 2015 and 2019. In 2019, the country also achieved a record-breaking numbers of 158 projects, and the total FDI stock was of 134.7 billion euros, representing a 7% growth compared with the previous year. The countries with the largest presence in terms of investment in Portugal are Spain, France, and Germany. We have about 1,700 Spanish companies with direct investments in Portugal, 1,000 French companies, 37 from the CAC 40 Paris Stock Index, and about 500 companies with German shareholders. Among the recent investments in Portugal, we highlight the following: the investments in the areas of new technologies made by German companies such as BMW, Bosch, Siemens, Mercedes, Volkswagen, or French companies like Natixis, BNP Paribas, or even Danish companies like Vestas or American companies like Cisco. In the field of industrial investments, we can highlight the investment from Siemens Gamesa, Stelia, Airbus, and Renault from France, Amcor Technology and BorgWarner from United States, and Wanon Systems from South Korea. Portugal has also attracted important investment from Belgium. We have now more than 50 Belgian companies in Portugal, and between 2015 and 2019, the Belgian direct investment in Portugal grew 174% and represents 1.2% of the total FDI in Portugal. AGEAS, Solvay, Schroeder are 3 Belgian companies with investments in Portugal, but we have also projects from companies like Promiris, Coriolis, Coris, VGP, Crest, Poratus, Lestirius, Sodal, and many others. For example, AGEAS Group, which is one of the largest Belgian investments in Portugal, is the 2nd player in the Portuguese insurance sector with 18% of global market share. The group growth strategy included several acquisitions of companies like AXA Portugal, Medis, and Occidental Seguros, and nowadays AGS Portugal is also present in different sectors such as pension funds, healthcare, real estate, and many others. Another interesting case study is the investment of Schroeder, a Belgian company of lighting technology present in Portugal for more than 50 years. In 2019, Schroeder opened the Schroeder Imperium, a center of excellence to develop smart city lighting solution located in Lisbon. Particularly in the region of Ribatejo, we can find investment from the following Belgian companies: Sibelco, the sand and minerals company with headquarters in Antwerp region, is also present in Rio Maior. Another example, Loist, a global leader in lime, dolim, and minerals, with the head office in Louvain-la-Neuve, is the owner of Lusical, its Portuguese subsidiary with office in Alcanet. In the food industry, Ardo Group, an European top producer of frozen vegetables, fruits, and spices, invested in a plant in Alpiarça, also in the Ribatejo region. Endeavor is a pioneer in the field of sustainable waste management. The company has an operational transfer station at the Abrantes Industrial Park that deals with all types of hazardous waste. And also IADIS, engineering company, also present in the Ribatejo region. To conclude this presentation, I would like to highlight that ICEP, my agency, regarding its kind of activities in the area of attracting foreign investment, works as a one-stop shop, supporting companies all the way through the investment process, from the prospecting phase, negotiating phase, the settling in, and even after the project execution, providing aftercare service. And to end with a good note, we'll show you a short promotion film on Portugal, and I previously mentioned we will make a presentation available with all the information. Thank you very much. Muito obrigado, and welcome to Brussels.
Thank you very much, Rui, for your presentation. As we heard, we have indeed more than 50 companies from Belgium investing in Portugal. It's 140% growth. And in fact, it's without surprise that Ribatejo is already in the map. You listed a few companies like Sibelco in Rio Maior, Loist from Louvain-la-Neuve, Ardo Group. Of course, it has to be the food and agro-food is always an important sector in Ribatejo, and Endeavor for the waste management. So this is perhaps a good example, and it will be very interesting to follow your presentation so that tomorrow all other Belgian investors can perhaps contact as well these Belgian companies and understand firsthand what was their experience, because you know for sure, better than all of us, that when the company goes abroad, there is always challenges, and those challenges need to be, for good and for bad, shared. So we look forward for your presentation that we will disseminate, and we look forward, especially now, to see your video. Thank you very much.
Antonio, thank you very much, Antonio.
There is a country where each dawn breaks with talent, innovation, and opportunity. A land that restlessly walks towards groundbreaking solutions for the greatest challenges. That sends its technology to space and the unknown depths of the ocean. A nation recognized as one of the top locations for international competence centers. The first worldwide in quality of life for expats, where language is never a barrier. This country is Portugal. Here, where the land ends and the sea begins, we are the gateway between Europe and the world. Even during the worst hardships, our ports and borders are an open door for talent and goods. We take every chance to reinvent ourselves. We never stop. Some say we are trendy. We know we are much more than that. And this is why Portugal keeps confirming major international projects. With several universities in top world rankings and the second highest rate of new engineering graduates in Europe, we offer a base of highly qualified assets to multiple industries. Plus, Portugal is the third safest nation on the planet. History knows us for conquering the unknown. We keep this heritage alive. From working on revolutionary medicines for Parkinson's to shaping the future with the largest 3D metal industrial printer in the world. No matter how defying your endeavors may be, this is the country where they will be solved. Right place, right time, right people. Portugal is open for business.
Porque o investimento, entretanto, já começou, não é? Pois.
I believe you didn't hear my transition because I was mute. So I was saying that this video was really inspiring because Portugal is open to business. The next speaker is, we go back to Portugal, basically from Brussels to Portugal. And the next speaker will be Sonia Santos, who works for the intermunicipality community of Ribatejo. She will indeed share the real bread and butter from those 13 municipalities and explain us how they cooperate with each other. Sonia, you have now the floor, please.
Yes. Good afternoon to everyone. My name is Sonia Santos and I'm representing the intermunicipal community of Ribatejo. On behalf of our President, Anabela Freitas, and our Administrator, Miguel Pombeiro, we would like to thank the NERSANT for this invitation, and it is a pleasure to take part of this webinar with so representative and important entities to promote business in Portugal, particularly in our region. Let me present to you who are we. We are a public institution that corresponds to the one of territorial units of Portugal called Ribatejo, that is localized in Ribatejo, and has as one of the main goals promote the economic, social and political growth and development, working also for the recognition of Ribatejo as a region to invest. But let me show our region. Welcome to Ribatejo. I want to show Ribatejo, but I can't pass the slide. Wow. It don't have sound. Hello? I'm not hearing anything.
Yes, we hear
Yes.
you. You can
Okay, excellent, excellent. All that. I thought I was alone.
You're
Well,
not alone.
okay. I'm so sorry for the phrases in the Portuguese, but I think the image talk from themselves. I hope you liked the quick trip, and let's continue in our region. Our institution associates 13 municipalities, namely Abrantes, Alcanena, Constância, Entroncamento, Ferreira do Zezer, Macão, Orei, Cerdoal, Sertã, Tomar, Torres Novas, Vila de Rei e Vila Nova da Barquinha. It is difficult to memorize, I know, but I will be back to this exercise. The Mediterranean assumes a privileged geographical position in the territory of mainland Portugal for its central location and proximity to the capital, Lisbon, which is an hour drive away. In the vicinity of the region are the Spanish border and the second most important city in our country, Porto, located about 1 hour and a half and 2 hours away, respectively. It centrally is a key factory due to the excellent accessibility. You have to wait because I want to show you where we are. As you can see in the map, our region has an excellent centrality in Portugal because of our excellent railway accessibility, road accessibility through the highway A23 with connection to the highways A1 and A13. Railroad connections between the coast of Portugal and Spain, and presence of Tancos aerodrome. We have labor specialized because in the region, in our region, they are the Aberta University, the Polytechnic Institute of Tomar, which have two technological schools, one in Tomar and another one in Abrantes, and the management school in Tomar. All institutions enable the territory with human resources valid for different business areas. And we still have strong traditional in automobile industry, metallurgical and metalworking industry, energy production and forest exploration, paper, stone, civil construction, agri-food, leather, tanneries, and emerging areas like cork, woods, olive oil, wine, vegetable, and agro-industrial crops. As your main goal is to promote benefits business location as a lever for the regional development and competitiveness, we aim to organize a network of business and industrial parks provided with appropriate business service. So I will present the business potential of each one of the municipalities. We're going to start with Abrantes. Welcome to Abrantes. Abrantes offers several business installation solutions, and it has a technology park called Tax Valley that is unique in Mediterranean, which brings together the technology and knowledge transfer workshop, the industrial and business innovation laboratory of the Polytechnic Institute of Tomar, the food technology transfer center, and the laboratory and technical tests and advice. The Abrantes Industrial Park, next to the A23 highway and the other parks in Pego and Trevegal, are the main economic nucleus of this municipality, hosting activities related to the automotive industry, metallurgy and metalworking, and energy production. Alcanena, this municipality has a privileged geographic location. It presents itself as a territory with great logistic industrial potential as a result of the centrality and the excellent available infrastructures and regional and national accessibility. It benefits from the interaction of important roads in Portugal, in particular from A1 and A23 highways intersection and national railways. It holds the mini industrial park, Alcanina Business Center, and the leather industries technological center called CITIC. Constancia. Constancia has two important industrial areas which generate employment and contribute to the socio-economic development of the region. Its main employer is Caima Company, an important producer of paper plug and much recently soluble paste intended for clothing and computer market. In the parish of Montalvo, it is located an industrial park where there are industries linking to various business sectors which contribute to job creation. This industrial area is next to the A23 and 30 kilometers from A1 with excellent accessibility. Let's take a train to Entroncamento, because this is a municipality that represents the center of railway accessibility in Portugal, with the Entroncamento railway station with national international connections. The geography of Entroncamento is very advantageous since it is located in the center of the country. So this municipality provides good support and infrastructure in the industrial zone and in the business park. Its location represents an opportunity for different sectors and services to work together. Ferreira do Zézer. In this municipality, there is a lot of space to make things happen and grow up. Is how we see Ferreira do Zézer. Lameiras Industrial Park, located near the A13 highway, have a total area of about 18.5 acres and has everything necessary to install a new business. The centrality and excellent communication routes to any point of Portugal or Europe are some of the strengths of this territory. In addition, it has tourist attractions such as the village of Dormes and the proximity to Castelo do Bode Reservoir, that is the country's second largest river basin after, of course, Alqueva. Mação offers the ideal conditions for the economic development. There are 3 industrial parks at your disposal in Cardigos, Mação and Ortiga. In Mação, there is a modern business center called Business Nest in a clear municipality's commitment to attract new companies and investment incentives. Excellent accessibilities, such as the proximity of the A23 highway and the Beira-Baixa railway line that links to Spain, as well as its privileged geographic position area that make this municipality very attractive when deciding where to invest. Next to the country main road, Orem assumes itself as a strategic territory for investment. Customized to Recife, this territory presents good infrastructures that make Orem excellent option to host an investment. As you can see in the picture, it represents Fatima. It's one of the most important religious centers in the world. And in 2017, when the Pope visits Fatima, it received 6.3 million people. That's why Orem has areas dedicated to installation of companies located in the center of the country as a business support center with personalized service to investors, and Orem Business Center, whose main challenge is to promotion and the follow-up of new micro companies that want to install in the municipality. Terdual is 150 kilometers from Lisbon and 240 kilometers from Porto. It has excellent accessibility through the EN2 road that connects to A23 A1 and IC8 highways, and in terms of railways, it is covered by the Beira-Baixa line. The Third Wall Business Park, located next to the EN2 road, it's a road that crosses all Portugal, is home of 23 companies from the most varied sectors like industry, commerce, and service. Center in the idea of Santarém as an investor-friendly destination. The municipality has two industrial centers adapted to the needs of companies. One is in the center of the municipality, localized in the north of the Santarém village, next to the IC highway, and another one is located to the west of the village in the industrial area of Sernancho com Jardim village. The Santarém Industrial Park also has a technological innovation center named CERQUE, with the objective to expand the capacity of our region for innovation and value creation in the local and regional economy, specialized, dedicated to the forest area. Tomar. The economic development strategy of Tomar takes into account two great views. Tomar as a technological development pole, which places Tomar on the map of technological regions at national level. Tomar is also a creative city based on economic and social development. Tourism is also one of the major drivers of economic development in this municipality due to the presence of Convento of Christ, that is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, and other very important heritage facilities. Headquartered in the city is the Politec Institute of Tomar and the IBM company, which opened the Center for Technological Innovation, called CENIT, also in Tomar. Torres Novas. Torres Novas assumes itself as the north door of Lisbon, enjoying a privileged location in the center of the country. The confluence of the A1 highway with the A23 highway, which connects to the center north interior of Portugal, as well as Spain and the rest of Europe, and the railway terminal located in Riachos, makes this municipality different in the regional and national context, especially in the area of logistics. Torres Novas has three industrial parks: Ribatejo Industrial Park, Torres Novas Industrial Park, and Riachos Industrial Park, and also varied tax benefits granted by the municipality to companies and individuals who choose to establish themselves in the municipality. If you want to know the right place where is the center of Portugal, you have to come to Vila de Rei. It's the territory that is the right in the center of Portugal, and that counts with three industrial parks with an area of 40 acres of land for its industrial implementations. These zones are distinguished by excellent location at the national level because they are located in the central point of the country with the proximity of large cities such as Coimbra, Lisbon, and the border from Spain. They are served by good road access, just like the other municipalities. And finally, the last one, Vila Nova de Berquinha is a municipality quite attractive for new investments and new companies. It has excellent accessibility and business support service, namely the business center located in the parish of Talaia, the business center and the recent Caixa Center, that is an enterprise support service, both located in the center of the village. In recent years, it was one of the few municipalities in the interior of Portugal to resist an increase in its population. Its excellent level of accessibility and its rich nature and cultural heritage make this municipality the ideal place to live and to invest. I hope you like it to know a little more about or some of the municipalities that are in the region. I would like to say that we have partnerships and protocols. Of course, one association that is very important in our territory is NERSANT, but we have also another associations that promote investment. And recently, our institution and the Portugal-China Chamber of Commerce of Small and Medium Enterprises signed a cooperation protocol, which will provide opportunities for presentation of Meditech companies in foreign markets. So you are welcome to participate in this opportunity, not only to come to Portugal, but to export to China.
Thank you.
I didn't finish, Antonio. I'm going to finish. And you're also welcome to contact us, of course, to study in particular where and how to invest in our region. And at last, yes, Antonio, at last I'm going to.
Thank you very much. I know it's not easy. You have the hard task of
yes, I know.
It's the only,
yes.
So
at last,
it's quite a challenge to resume everything and to show.
Yes, it's not because there is a lot to say about our region, but at last I would like to invite all you all to embrace our vision that Meditejo is a region to invest, work, visit, and live. We work every day to make this possible. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Sonia. Now, as you all know, we have here today a Belgian company, Promires, which is in fact investing right now in Portugal. They are in fact located, they have investments in Lisbon, in Porto, in the Algarve, and more they are seeking to find other possibilities in the country. I have the pleasure to introduce you to Lourenço Vaninis, who is talking from Lisbon, as I understand. So, Lourenço, could you please introduce us to your company and explain why this company decided to invest in Portugal?
Well, thank you, Antonio. First of all, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you for the invitation. As the last guest, and after all this very interesting presentation, I will try to be quick and precise. I really don't want to take much more of your time. If I was invited today, it's as a witness of a Belgian company that decided to invest in Portugal. So I will first present a bit Promires, explaining what we do, and then second time, I will explain why Promires decided to invest in Portugal. So Promires is a real estate developer from Brussels. So what we do is that we invest, build and sell buildings, mainly in Belgium and Portugal. Our group manage around 100,000 square meters of developed projects divided between the two countries. Right now, we are more or less 50% in Belgium and 50% in Portugal. Our investment portfolio in Portugal is around 50 million in the area of Lisbon and more than 110 million in Oporto. This means that it's more than 160 million in this beautiful country. Promires in Portugal, our core business, it's housing, basically. We are active and we invest in 3 different sectors of housing. First, traditional housing, so it means we build apartment buildings for middle class and middle high class. We build new buildings, but we also renovate existing buildings into housing. We are also very active in student housing. There's a huge lack in Portugal for this kind of equipment, and the government already announced they want to create more than 50,000 beds by 2030. And of course, Promires want to be part of this challenge. And finally, we are also active in non-assist elderly housing. As you all know, Europe is getting older and there is a big demand from local authorities for this kind of equipment. For the moment, Promires invests mainly in Oporto and Lisbon. You have to understand, when a company that comes from a foreign country, well, first it has to settle good and strong bases, and Porto and Lisbon are as the biggest city, of course, for a foreign company, they are a bit safer and maybe less risky. But we are always looking for new opportunities. Portugal is a big country, and there is much more than Oporto and Lisbon, of course. And especially now after the pandemic, the market is changing and people are looking more and more to move outside the big cities and to move to smaller cities and towns to find better quality of life. So maybe in the near future, we could have interest to invest also in the Ribatejo. I'm thinking about Cartacho, Benavente, of course, Santarém, Torres Novas, and of course, even Abrantes. There could be very, very interesting opportunities. Why did we choose to invest in Portugal? Well, I already give you some leads. I mean, there's several reasons. First, it's a beautiful country for sure. It's politically stable, and that's for a company, it's very important. It's a safe country, of course, and you already said it. I always say that it has all the ingredients to be the California of Europe. You know, there's a lot of opportunities for the real estate market, and you have to understand that during a long time, Portugal was a bit late compared to these European neighbors. What is about real estate, and the real estate park was getting a bit old and was not responding to all the actual demands, comfort, energy efficiency, sustainability, ecologically. There was an absence of all these demands, and that's why Portugal market is very exciting, because there's still a lot to be done. It's also a very dynamic country. Portugal was for a long time this southern western country, a bit forgotten, and I think now it's getting closer and closer, and it's becoming more central than it used to be. There's, of course, and it's a bit trendy now, Portugal, we all know that. There's a lot of interest for foreigners to invest here, but also the locals, and that's very interesting, and we see that in our project. Also, the locals are getting more and more active and very interesting in financing and in investing in their own country. And so, yeah, it's a very, very exciting market. Of course, when we arrive,
to just sorry to interrupt you, but to ask a question regarding the sector, the real estate. You know that before the COVID-19 pandemic, there was really a growing, in fact, in the main two cities, Porto and Lisbon, not only foreign investment, but also nationals that were investing in real estate and exploring it through Airbnbs. Now, when your company started investing in Portugal, you chose, as you said, safer geography, so Lisbon and Porto. Do you think that there will be a step down, and in this sense, companies willing to invest now in Ribatejo, they will think twice, or are you more confident than ever?
Well, when the pandemic started, everybody was a bit afraid of what is going to happen, of course. And we are looking at the market, and the market is really answering in a very good way, better than ever, even. And that's, I'm not afraid. I mean, at the beginning, we were all afraid, but I think all businesses, not only real estate, were a bit afraid what's going to happen. And I think Portugal showed that they could overdo these problems, and they could go further. And for now, I mean, we see the market, and we are selling very well now, and we don't really have this problem, and we don't feel this problem. And I think for any company to come to Portugal, they shouldn't be afraid. And there is a lot of opportunities here, and even if there is this pandemic, and it's touching all the countries in the world, so I mean, things shouldn't be a problem to come here and to invest here in Portugal.
Now, you heard here a presentation from NERSANT, and you got to know better the region. I'm sure you perhaps already visit Santarém. You saw that this region touches a lot of fields, a lot of sectors, and there is indeed room for an investment in real estate. From what you heard, what is then attractive to you to a potential visit to NERSANT, to Ribatejo?
Well, it's always to know better how is their real estate park right now and to see a bit how this city is growing up. I know we are not the only ones investing in Portugal, and we know that other companies are investing also in the Ribatejo, also in the real estate. And it's like I said, like you said, and the other guest said, Ribatejo is not that far from Lisbon anymore, and you have a very close connections. And I think it could be a very, very interesting. And I will love to meet some people and to see if there are opportunities, of course.
Fantastic. To perhaps just to conclude, if you could, in really 60 seconds, to the Belgians that are listening to us, tell perhaps the main advice when you go to Portugal. What do you need to really pay attention?
Well, as a Belgian or a foreign company, when you arrive to a new country, there's always a period of adaptation. You have to get used to customs and habits. I mean, we are not that different, of course. We are still all Europeans, but there is a difference, a different approach on business, and you have to get used. So I think that's why it's very important to be surrounded by the right person and to find really good people to talk with, and maybe the chambers of commerce, of course, or NERSANT, and people who really can help you in implementing your company in the country. Because yeah, concerning the real estate sector, the biggest difficulty, maybe the biggest challenge, was sometimes to work with municipalities. They are sometimes a bit too bureaucratic and sometimes very complex, and it's sometimes a bit almost Kafkaian. But I know, and I talk a lot with mayors and with local authorities, and they are really, really doing a huge effort, and they are aware of all that. And Portugal became trendy in a very few years, and of course this doesn't change from night to day. And I really understand that local authorities, they really want to boost their investment, they really want to attract new people, and I feel there is a change and something is changing, and for better. So yes, it's really, really interesting to be here in Portugal, and we really hope to stay long. Promiris is really want to consolidate his presence here. And like I said, Portugal is not anymore this far country from the south. It has all the attributes to be one of the major players in Europe. And we Promiris, we want to be part of this, of course. Yes, and I invite you all to, if you want to have more information about Promiris, to just visit our site, our website, promiris.com, and you can see all the projects we are doing, developing here in Portugal and also in Belgium. And it will be very interesting to meet all of you.
Fantastic. Thank you very much indeed, Lourenço Vaninis, for your contribution and to really sharing with us the result of Belgium adventure in Portugal, and potentially an investment, who knows, in Ribatejo. Yeah. We have now 2 minutes before finishing this today's webinar. I have to say it was really a pleasure for me to moderate this session. Being Portuguese and being here in Brussels, it's really a pleasure to talk about two countries that have a lot to offer, a lot to talk about, and especially this region, Ribatejo. I'm sure that everybody here today understood that it's quite unique due to its diversity, geography, and everything it has to offer. I would like to really thank you all for your participation, and obviously to thank our organizer, NERSANT, who brought us today a lot of stories that inspire, for sure, many investors to consider booking a trip to Portugal. Thank you very much, and have a nice evening. Bye.